we go. Hi, Nina, and hello, everybody. Welcome to this beautiful chat that I'm going to have with the lovely Nina Rossiter, or Janina Rossiter, as you may know her. So we've had 2 or 3 days already of a shark safari week. It's like our very own Shark Week at Shark Guardian. And I wanted to showcase different authors, and it's always a bonus when we have artists combined with the books. And I've wanted to get Nina to come and do a book reading really for a long time for us. And I thought it was a really good time because it's Plastic Free July, although it's not really been promoted so much. But any reason or any time we can promote and raise awareness of what we can do to help the oceans and plastic, because it's all marine creatures as well as sharks, is always a good time. We also had an Mangrove Day a couple of days ago, and it's the International Day of Nature. There's always a day that's and often every week that's celebrated.
2 days a day.
Bringing awareness to our oceans and our marine creatures and our planet. And like myself, Nina, you are up for just helping our planet in any way, basically, aren't you?
Trying.
Trying. Please introduce yourself. Tell us where we are, because I know you're in Paris, where you are, what's your background, how you've ended up here today, and then we can talk about how we've connected before we share your book.
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. As you said, we were trying to do this for a while, and I'm excited we are finally doing it. So a huge thank you. So my name is Nina Rossiter. I publish my books under my name, Janina Rossiter. And so I started writing books with a little penguin. This is Toby, Toby the penguin. And I started writing little stories like Toby the penguin goes camping. That was just for fun, and I really enjoyed these stories. And then I started moving towards the environment. I've always been somebody who was very aware of the environment, but I wasn't an artivist, as you call it, or an activist. And in 2018, something happened that made me an artivist, and it was plastic pollution. That's why it's good we talk about plastic pollution, because that was really what changed my path quite drastically, I would say. And it started with this book, 1, 2, 3, Who's Cleaning the Sea?
Got it here as well, my kitchen lover.
And it wasn't supposed to be a book about plastic pollution. It really happened by coincidence. And it happened because I was researching the sea and sea creatures, and I came across plastic pollution, and I was shocked to the core. And I thought, okay, I didn't really know the extent of it, and I think lots of people don't know the extent of it. I have to raise awareness, and this is how 1, 2, 3, Who's Cleaning the Sea started. And it's really, it was really natural path. And once I've finished this book, I wasn't just an artivist, it didn't happen from one day to another. It was a journey of many people I met on Instagram, people that motivated me, that kept me going. And then it was funny because later on I was writing this book, Diamonds, Hearts and Sea Stars. And while I was writing this book, I was writing the shark chapter. That one. I was writing the shark chapter. I got contacted by your social media girl at that time, Harriet, who asked me if I could help them with the Stop the Shark Finning petition UK, the fin ban. And because I was in the middle of writing this book, I thought it was like something that was meant to be. And I helped you with lots of artwork and to push the campaign, to make people sign. And I always say I'm not an expert on sharks. I love sharks, but there are many, many more people that know a lot more about sharks than I do. But I see myself as somebody who tries to connect people, try to connect the dots. So we all work together, and we all work for the same cause to protect our beautiful ocean. So that's me.
Great. And, and I do the same. And at Shark Guardian, we are proud of the fact we love to collaborate. We know we cannot do it all. So if we can all work together, even those are on, different projects. And the artwork that you created for Finspire Change, for those who don't know what it is, go and look it up, because we were involved in pushing and driving a petition that has eventually, literally in the last few weeks, gone through its final stage in the UK Parliament to ban the import and export of shark fins, which people had no idea that that was still going on. And to have these beautiful artworks, Jessica, Jane, she did some really powerful work as well. And we featured her and some other artists along with you. We did a little feature on artists who were doing work to save the ocean. And it's beautiful that there is this little community of you, and you all support each other, and using your art and your time for good. The picture you did with the UK Parliament with the blood and that, and it was so powerful. So you must be very, very proud of that. Why don't you just mention this, you've got that book there, would you kindly read the section on sharks as a little introduction?
There's this image here. So what I'm trying to do in each chapter, because this book is quite long, I'm trying to engage the kids so they can guess what sea creature is connected to which shape. So this is hearts. These creatures live in every ocean. Some are always found in motion. They even outlive dinosaurs. The proof is on the ocean floors. Hundreds of teeth, row after row, in heart-shaped forms. They grow and grow. No need to fear them. Have some respect. We're sharing the oceans we want to protect. I know you have already found out which sea creature I'm talking about. So, the sharks. And then it goes to, some people think that sharks are scary, but studies show it's the contrary. Whale sharks are nice. You're not their prey. They are the largest fish alive today. The smallest is a dwarf lantern shark. It lives where the ocean's deep and dark. These fish came millions of years ago, but populations are now quite low. Sharks should be swimming in the sea and not be served as soup for tea. These predators are very clever. Let's stop them being lost forever. Protect them, please, with all your heart, and give them all a great new start.
Beautiful. And I was looking again earlier at the beautiful images that you have there. What's your favourite shark? I mean, that's something I get asked a lot, but what's your favourite shark?
I just love the treasure shark. I also love the whale shark. If I would ever want to swim with a shark or near a shark from a distance, I think it's definitely the whale shark. But they're beautiful. They're just so beautiful, and I think we need to learn more about them. And as you often post about how the misconception, how many more people die of car accidents or mosquitoes or whatnot, we really, they're a wild animal that live in the sea, and the sea belongs to nature and not to us, So I think that we need to learn, we need to understand and respect, So
yeah, I think that's it. You hit the nail on the head. And even when there are accidents with sharks, incidents, which is so very rare, generally these days there's this consensus that we are in their environment. We have to learn to coexist with them. And especially with the media, the drone footage, people with GoPros, there's so much more now media out there showing how close even some of the what are classed as more dangerous, that have the bigger teeth, that could harm us, how they are swimming around and interacting closer to us than we realise. So it's really important we keep sharing this message, and that's why it's so important that we go in schools as well. So let's switch it over to plastic, because again, you've done so much for it. You've had quite a few of your artworks being displayed, haven't you, in exhibition? You've been so busy this last year, particularly, isn't it? It's just like gone off for you, which I'm so proud. Tell us a little bit about that, and what's been happening with your art and your career, really.
Yeah, I think last year it was 2 years ago now, something really incredible happened. It was you just mentioned we had Mangrove Day, and I did a drawing for the Marine Diaries, which was a mangrove ecosystem, and I donated the drawing to the to Explorers Against Extinction to raise money for wildlife. And what happened from then was completely natural. I had nothing to do with it. It was like the mangrove went on its own journey. And because Explorers Against Extinction had applied for an exhibition space at COP26, and they got it. And 5 artworks of 1,000 entries got chosen to be exhibited. And the mangrove was one of them. And I couldn't believe it when that happened. And I think that helped me a lot to finally got seen a bit more by exhibitions, by people. I felt that things became a little bit more easier after, and I had a few really incredible exhibitions. So I was exhibiting at the Grand Palais Éphémère last year with Change Now, with the Change Now Summit, and I had these really big images from my book it was 2 meter by 2 meter on a wall. It was a dream to it was these and you know, I'm a self-published author, and I always think you know, there's a lot of, how you say, you know, they can't be successful, or they're not good enough, or you know, there's a lot of, you know, how you say, it's heavy sometimes, you know, and you always feel like you have to prove yourself, or you have to prove that your work is good, you know. So, or I always felt like that. I always felt like maybe, you know, I have to prove myself. And it was amazing when that happened, because it was images from the book that I self-published, that I written myself, that I've put together myself, that I published myself, and they made it into the Grand Palais Éphémère, you know, the biggest event for the planet. And I was just like, it was a huge like gratitude that happened, really.
And what you're saying is, it's just this self-doubt that we all face, isn't it? Self-doubt, am I good enough, can I do this? And just to sometimes get that external reinforcement, you know, we don't need it, you know, you're good enough, and you are. But when you have things like that, it's just nice, isn't it, just to reinforce it. And because it's like, you know, conservation, art, you know, there's not so much money. We do lots and lots of this stuff for free, for donating, you know, for the cause. So it's just nice to get that extra recognition that allows then your work to get out there. And maybe someone buys the book for their kids, or, you know, you've got a beautiful range. I notice you're wearing your jacket there, that range. What's the name of that range? The colours, I love it. It's like how you've got
this. This is my artwork.
Yeah, what's it called? It's got a special name, hasn't it?
It's fluid art. Yeah,
fluid art. Yeah, like some of the book, it's that kind of, and this is a box. Yeah, so do, you know, we'll got some links below, and do go and check out Nina's work. So we have had Plastic Free July, but when we were saying, I mean, you don't need a month. It's like with anything. It's like when there's Shark Week or there's certain days, you shouldn't need that, but it is a kind of reminder. And if it means that people go, okay, this month I'm going to make that extra effort to take my mesh bag with me to the supermarket, or I'm going to refuse all plastic straws, or I'm going to eat less fish, or, you know, all these things. And again, that eat less fish, we'll touch on that in a minute. You know, it's a really good awareness. It's time for people to, and maybe they make that commitment for a week or a month, and then hopefully it becomes more of a habit if they continue, and it can make a bigger difference, because it really does. We're in a big phase in our world, aren't we, in life, that we've really all got to collaborate more. And again, I love the end of the book, that the message with that. So we will get on reading that in a minute. So what's your again, you said one of the reasons you got into this was because you realize you kind of go down a rabbit hole, don't you, when you start looking into something. And the author we had on yesterday was sharing, so Natalie Newman and her son wrote a book called Shark the Lark, and the reason that happened was because they were doing some research for his homework on trash and plastic and pollution, and they had no idea of the scope of it, because I mean, if you live away from the ocean, you can be very removed from what's going on. It's like sharks. People don't understand because they can't see them. But when it's put into your actual view, you know, brought close, you cannot ignore what's going on, can you?
Right. Yeah, it started with a show in the aquarium, which was to raise awareness of plastic pollution. And I was there with my family, and the actors asked the children if anyone wanted to help the sea creatures, and my daughter raised her hands and wanted to help. And, you know, as a mom, there was this, I've done something right, you know, she wants to protect the sea creatures, she wants to help the environment, and that definitely left an impression with me. And when I came home that evening, I felt like I needed to look into the subject more. And I was devastated. I was crying. I was seeing things I have never seen before. You know, it's just the impact of plastic pollution on nations, on women, on how people live next to rivers. I was just so devastated, and I was upset. I was really upset, and I thought, how am I going to explain this to little children without like telling them, you know, this is the world you live in. You know, I wanted to create something really positive, and I wanted to create something that left us with positive action. And I think that was the most difficult part, that I really wanted to create a positive book on a very devastating subject. And how am I going to do that? So I had what happened at the aquarium was that they were asking the children to help the sea creatures, and that was definitely what gave me the idea. You know, the sea creatures, it's a little bit like with kids, you know, they have their room is messy, you start cleaning up and you say, oh, would you not help me, you know, and then they join in more than go and clean your room. They wouldn't do it. So
yeah. Did you do it together?
Yeah, we did it together. And the idea was certainly the sea creatures are starting, and now they tell the children, now we cleaned it together. Now it's up to you to make sure it stays that way. And I've been in the classroom many times with this book, and it really works. The children are motivated. They want to protect the sea creatures. And this is something that has always motivated me and given me so much out of it, that the children understand the message. They understand, okay, what we're doing is not good, we have to help, and at the end we all say, now you're going to be the hero and you help. And it really works. So
because if they don't, it's going to be an even bigger mess than we've made it, isn't it, the bottom line? And like when we do the sessions in schools for sharks and for the ocean, you know, they're just in that innocent stage, and they just see these amazing sea creatures, and they see the planet and just get the fact, this is our home, there's only one chance, let's get on it. And it is, and that's what motivates us to keep doing this, isn't it, Nina, at the end of the day?
Yeah, I find the way children work is so beautiful, because they understand immediately. I hear from the children, so if it's bad, why we're doing it. And yes, they are not implemented in structures and finances. They don't have this baggage of, you know, making a decision and having to work it out. For them, it's like, okay, it's not good, why are we doing it? We need to stop doing it. You know, it's like, yes, it is clear. And I wish sometimes adults wouldn't have, you know, all these constraints that keeps them back from making the decisions that give us a livable planet, you know.
Yeah. Or just ignoring it. Like I see it here, you know, down at the beach. I cannot go to the beach without picking up trash. There's always something. And I'll see people walking by, and, you know, or holiday makers. And I understand you're on holiday, you don't want to do that. But this is all of our problems. And if everyone just did a little bit, we would get a lot further. But anyway, let's not go into that further, because I'll start ranting. Please, it would be wonderful if you could read your book to us.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Who's cleaning the sea? 1, 2, 3. Who do you see? I see creatures cleaning the sea. But why do they clean? What have they seen? Oceans full of dirt and plastic. Cleaning them would be fantastic. What's the little seahorse found? One cotton bud floating around. The mermaid collects 2 cups a day from near her rock in the ocean bay. The tripod fish comes swimming along. He's found 3 cans, which didn't take long. 4, 5, 6. Let's see who else can show us tricks. The turtle brings 4 plastic straws, which she has picked up with her claws. Here's the starfish with 5 balloons in his pool below the dunes. The fire shrimp finds 6 plastic spoons while cleaning up in his lagoons. 7 and 8. Is it too late? Not quite yet, but let's not wait. Deep down in the ocean, 7 forks are stuck. The sea pig digs them from the mud. 8 fishing nets on the ocean floor, dragged by an octopus up to the shore. 9 and 10, let's stop the sea getting dirty again. Look at what the jellyfish got. 9 plastic bags found in one spot. While searching in the coral gaps, the squid picked up 10 bottle caps. Here comes a diver swimming past to take away the waste at last. The ocean must stay clean forever, so we need to work together. If we create less waste each day, it makes a difference straight away. And by recycling, we be sure to keep our oceans clean and pure. Zero, so be a hero. I'm counting on you. The sea creatures are too. Thank you.
And there's a whale saying thank you.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. So again, when I was looking at it again earlier, so Brendan went and did a beach cleanup this morning, and he was just saying how bad it was for single-use plastic food. So people take their containers, if they go to the market or the fast food place, they go to the beach with it, and then they just normally wrap it in a bag, but often they'll just throw the containers on the floor. And we're seeing it more and more. Like, it's just a nightmare. So yeah, the spoons, which one was the spoons?
Yeah, so I've written this book in 2018, and these were the 10 most found items in the ocean. And something as fishing nets, plastic spoons
and forks, and plastic bags everywhere. And obviously the big thing with the plastic bags, and I think most children know this now, that jellyfish look like plastic bags, or plastic bags look like jellyfish, and turtles like to eat jellyfish. So that's the biggest thing when we are cleaning up. Mariella particularly now will say, oh, we've saved another turtle, or oh, we've saved another shark. The other one is the bottle tops. Like seriously, I can't believe sometimes when we go down, and even just like the walkway near one of the beaches we go to, there's so many bottle caps. Now, these are a certain type of plastic, and we separate them when we do cleanups, and we send them to a special place in Phuket, and they mold them into like phone holders or like cups and things like this. So we're trying to do something about that, but the volume is absolutely crazy, and
it is.
I think the only way is literally to stop making any plastic, isn't it, and just reuse and recycle what we already have. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Because again, I sometimes still get really overwhelmed with it, that there's so much, especially living in an Asian country.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, we have, so when I go to schools, I read the book, but then we're going to do about a 45-minute workshop on plastics. And I think that's really important, because there are 7 different types of plastic, and we have to understand recycling is so complicated, because each type of plastic is different, and it needs different sorting, it needs different recycling, and that makes it really difficult. And some countries don't have these facilities. The countries that do have the facilities, I believe in the circular economy, but the circular economy doesn't avoid the microplastic and the toxins. So, there's a lot of work to be done, but we haven't found this magical material that can replace plastic. And plastic has helped us a lot with the lightweight. It reduces carbon emissions when we transport things. So there are positive and negatives, but we always have to, I think, at each solution or problem, there's not just one solution. We have to look at the different, problems and what we can do. So because I don't want to overwhelm the children, what I always do with them is behavior change, meaning we reduce and we reuse and we bring our own. So the Bring Your Own campaign, is quite important to me. It's like, yes, it is more complicated to leave the house with your own water bottle and your own cups, but once you get used to it, that's just automatic, you know.
Yeah.
So because I do not have all the answers to all the different materials, and I think there's a whole industry trying to work this out, you know. It's a complex issue which needs a lot of solutions. For me, the best message is we need to reduce, we need to stop producing, and we need to find solutions. And you know, and if you can avoid the toxins of plastic, please do, because we don't know what the consequences are. So that's what I'm trying to work out with the children. And yeah, so basically
yeah, because there's effects to the body that we don't know now, or they're not going to see now, but that could be affecting future generations. It is affecting future generations because they found microplastics in fetal tissue, don't they, as well?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's crazy, and it's the size of a credit card, isn't it? Is it every week, isn't it, that we're supposed
to?
No,
I think the microplastic of a amount of a credit card, I think it's a year, but I stopped repeating numbers because I find it's complicated, you know.
Yeah. The bottom line, I think the biggest thing is reduce, you know, saying no. So like when the people go to 7-Eleven here and they automatically just take the bag, like stop, say no, you know, it's not unavoidable. We're not perfect, are we, Nina? You know, and I feel very like there was one point that I stopped going to the supermarket or you know, I hardly went, or stopped buying so many things because of the plastic. And it was just like, you know what, there's just some things I cannot avoid. So how do I make it even better? So I reuse those things, or I make an effort, like certain things I won't buy at the supermarket, I will only get at the market, but using with my mesh bag. And I love that because I'm supporting the locals as well. So, you know, I think that's really beautiful. I think I'm just going to show this picture again, because I think it was there was a photograph, wasn't there, that did the rounds a few years ago, probably longer than
Justin Hoffman is the
But this was 2018. This must have been before that. The photograph must have been before that. Do you think? No.
The photograph was one of the big inspirations. I saw the photograph of him, and it was actually what gave me the idea to this book. It's like, okay, the sea creatures don't have a choice anymore. They are surrounded by our trash. You know, it's not like they want to clean up. They don't have a choice. And the photograph is not an art photograph, so it's not inscenated. How do you say? You know, sometimes, it was documenting the real life. And I saw an interview afterwards, and he said sometimes, you know, he gets reduced to that one picture, but his work is so much more than that, you know. And you know, I am careful with like copying artwork that is art, but this is something that is documented, you know. A seahorse found a cotton bud, and I didn't try to do exactly the same position as the seahorse in the photograph. I was just trying to say, okay, there's a seahorse with a cotton bud, and this is what happened.
But it's powerful, and it made, and I hope it made people think about using cotton buds as well. Like, you know, it's so, because they're used so freely here.
But you see the change. Our cotton buds are not made with plastic anymore inside them. They are now made with paper or with bamboo. So things do change, and I saw that the lollipop sticks are now not made with plastic anymore. So the industry is reacting, and so raising awareness does work, I think.
Yeah, that's good. It's just a lot slower in Asia. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, lollipop sticks were paper, because I remember unwrapping them after eating them. Like, I didn't have lots, but that's just made me remember that. The other one I just wanted to point out was again, from a powerful image, was the rounds of the tortoise with it in its nose, wasn't it? And again, it's those things. Again, if that means people then take note and say no, then it just shows the power. I mean, it's a beautiful picture, and it's just got one in each of its little fins there. So
this is actually I'm going to take this off. This is actually my friend Christina Figgener, who took the video, and it went viral. And she works in Costa Rica to protect sea creatures, and she inspired me without knowing her at that time. She inspired me to use that image, and she gave me this little sea turtle.
Oh, that's a beautiful memory and a beautiful connection, isn't it? Oh, I showed the beautiful artwork that you did for myself and Brendan, and then you did we raised money for the charity as well, didn't we? That was a beautiful offering.
Yeah, so when we first met, you told me about your first experience and diving and why you love sharks. So I tried to create this artwork for you and Brendan. And I hope I catch that that moment for you. I don't know.
Yeah. So this is actually that is a leopard shark. The ones we see in Thailand we call leopard sharks, but they're actually zebra sharks. So
I know, I always get confused.
Kind of combine them. But the beautiful thing is, obviously, Brendan is from South Africa, and we've swum with the pajama sharks in the kelps in South Africa. So it's like combining, because of, you know, that blue that I love. It's combining that, and it's beautiful. And I think you saw it was Katie from Sharktopia did us as a leopard shark family, and I think you saw that as well, and it was just like, yeah,
it's so cute. Yeah, and I donated this to you, so I think there's still a few copies available, and 100% goes to the Shark Guardian to support your work, because your work is important and amazing. So it was a little present.
Yeah, I love it. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything that you do, your work, your promotion, Please follow Nina on all her social media channels. She's really big, particularly on LinkedIn and Instagram, and we will drop the links below. Books are amazing. I'm excited to see what you're going to do next. And again,
I'm writing at the moment.
Pardon?
I'm writing my next book at the moment.
Exciting. Oh, that's something to look forward to. So yeah, stay in touch to learn more. Please share when you see this recording, share with some other people that you will find that will find it interesting. Again, as Nina said, for her daughter, that was the inspiration she needed, and to move things forward. I've already mentioned Natalie. My kids are without a doubt animal lovers through and through, because they've been exposed to everything at such a young age, and this is the next generation we are creating and nurturing. It's so important, this kind of education. So thank you for giving me your time, Nina. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Also, if you have any questions, please put them below, and we will answer them whenever we can. And until the next time, Nina, yeah?
Yeah. Bye. Thank you again.